Okay, everybody, a large part of why we're here is to take a stand not just for progressives who are running for Congress, but specifically related to the fact that in these primaries, you have these establishment-backed, corporate-backed candidates. Yes, they're Democrats, but they represent a Democratic establishment and a Democratic leadership that seems to not want many of us think of as the Democratic wing of the Democratic Party anywhere around. That's why we're doing the summit. So you know who the progressives are and know that you can't wait for the general election to know that you'll have a chance to vote for them. We need a new face of Congress, and that effort has to begin with these primaries. So I'm happy to introduce you to Eric Kingson. And Eric is running for New York District 24. The primary is on June 28th. Eric, hi and welcome.
Hi, great to be here. Thank you for doing this.
Well, thank you for doing what you're doing. I see that this is your first race. Public office, and you are a professor of social work at Syracuse University, and you've been doing that for 17 years.
That's correct.
But that's just the beginning of your significant resume. You are co-founder of a national group called Social Security Works. You are considered a national expert on Social Security. You started the Strengthen Social Security Coalition, a group working with more than 300 national and state organizations to strengthen and expand Social Security. And just to take it even further, a book that you wrote on the topic is a significant part of the platform that is now used by Senator Bernie Sanders, who you have endorsed for the presidency. Is all that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, well, all of that is a reason why we want to really make sure you get into Congress. Not only Social Security expansion, having someone like yourself there who is an expert on the topic, Medicare for all, campaign finance reform, income inequality. Eric, one of the reasons that you interest me is because it seems to me that so many conservative activists make a pretty natural transition from activist to candidate. And on the progressive side, there are a lot of people like yourself who do excellent work, but never make that step and say, damn, I'm going to run myself. What happened inside you that you said, enough, I'm running?
Okay, let me just start at the beginning. I cut my teeth in the civil rights movement, which was the core of what I did in the early 60s. And it's what drives me entirely through my career as an academic, as a person who's worked in communities. What we've done with Social Security Works, what drove me to this first and foremost is that our country is in a mess. Our democracy is at risk. The economics is unsustainable. It's undermining families. It's disrespectful. And so, like a lot of people, I'm tired. I don't want to watch that. I also felt it's important to step up as someone who has had a number of years of experience, kind of has a sense of who he is, and who wants to take his voice and amplify it, not only on Social Security, but on many issues concerning economic justice and democracy. So I never planned on running for Congress, but after working in Social Security Works, after helping to build this coalition I co-founded in the organization, and after seeing we move mountains, all of us working together, stopped cuts to everybody's Social Security, and laid the foundation for shifting the argument so that now there's a discussion about expanding it. After being involved in that process, I decided, why not?
That's right. And I think the point is what you're saying, things can change. As a child of the 60s, and I am as well, we lived at a time where the same kind of revolutionary fervor was abroad in the land. And also, even though I think the assassinations obviously shut down the revolution, as it were, we did bring down a president and we did stop a war. Those things did occur. And of course, the birth of the civil rights movement. So I think that the fact that you have that visceral understanding that things can change, can be done, and all of the work that you've done with these national organizations means that you can take that kind of expertise into Congress.
Exactly. Also, as you're saying, talking about, I'm thinking about one of the phone calls I had. One of the things you have to do is you raise money.
Right.
You hope there are other ways to raise money, but you're on the phone. Called a woman who turned out to be 95 years old. And she gets on and she says, why? She says, so why are you calling, Professor? I said, well, I'm doing this. Well, what are you? Well, I'm calling because I'm a Bernie Sanders supporter. I'd like to talk with you because I'm running for Congress. Why the hell do you want to do that? I'm 95 years old. I've been active politically my whole life. And this is the worst time I've ever seen anything. Why would you do it? And I hadn't really thought, and I said to her, got my start in civil rights, and there's a song that always echoes in my mind, which is the "Ain't gonna let nobody turn me round, gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, walking on a freedom land." That to me is the existential statement. I said to her, it's about an existential statement of you do it because yes, things are bad, but we have to keep doing it because that's how we bring about change.
I wish you the very, very best. I look forward. I know that a lot of people who are watching you now will be very enthusiastic about supporting your campaign. I hope that they'll tell everybody they know in New York District 24. I hope that you win your primary on June 28th, and that we can have the opportunity to work with you more after that to get you to Congress in November.
I will look forward to being back after the 28th of June, and I really appreciate what you're doing too.